Shalom, shalom. Back at it again. I had to cancel my last stream. I got a call from work. But before I get started, I want to give all the glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakak Wadash. Double honors unto my apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and safety to all the sincere Akim that's out here pushing this word of truth and in all sincerity. Shalom to you all. All right. And shalom to you, sincere sister. Now, I don't have a title to this just yet, which I did, but I just have to type it in. I'm in motion. So, but this lesson is centered around where you truly are, who's those that are truly called and those that are experiencing, as the term goes, a religious psychosis, right? Because there are those that are called, but there are, what it says, many are, as Yahweh Shai said, many are called, but few are chosen. Many are called, but few are chosen. Okay, the chosen, all right, those chosen men and women, specifically the men, but there's women as well that are chosen, the elect lady, right? So those that are chosen, go back to Jeremiah 1 and 4, right? That before I formed thee in the womb, I knew thee. And basically, you know, molded Jeremiah to be a prophet. All right? And that's that same energy, same process includes the elect, the 144,000. See, that's we all, like the apostles and elders always say, you can't make yourself part of the elect. Now, you could put on as the elect, you could do the things that the elect would do, and those are signs of who the elect would be. Okay? There is an elect. There is a remnant of men and women, but specifically men in this conversational point, because why am I focusing in on the men in this regard? The men are the ones that the Lord are choosing to teach, to prophesy, to bring about his word. All right? Those men were chosen. But that number is small. It's a remnant. It's a little sanctuary. Remember, the scriptures say the way, the straight is the way. Not straight as in a straight line, but straight and broad is the way that leadeth into destruction. There's way more wrong than there's right. Period. There's way more false prophets than there are actual real prophets. There's way more people speaking and pushing bullshit and wrong than there are doing the right thing. There's way more people listening to the wrong, being. That's why the Lord spoke about the blind leadeth the blind, and they both shall fall into the ditch. There's way more blind. That's another way of saying it too. There are way more blind people, deaf, than there are those that can see and hear. That's why the Lord said in Matthew the 13th chapter, right? Blessed is your eyes, for they see. Blessed is your ears, for they hear. That's not everybody's ears. That's not everybody's eyes. Most people are blind. Most people are deaf. The majority. Even, and I'm specifically speaking, I'm not talking to the whole world in this regard. I'm speaking to Israel. I'm speaking to those that know that they're Hebrew Israelites, that put on the garments, fringes, keep the Passover, keep some form of a Sabbath, you know, believe that it's more wrong than there's right. So that's why I said, are you sincerely called by Yahweh Shem Yahushai to do this work? To push his word, to feed his flock? Were you called by Yahweh Shai to feed his flock? If not, then you are as well experiencing religious psychosis. What is religious psychosis? See, a lot of people out here are having fake spiritual awakenings, fake callings. You might have experienced some type of trauma in your life. Now, let me be clear. This is where, as it says in Ephesians, the 4th chapter, that this elect was predestined before the foundation of the earth. So what does that mean? Those that the Lord chose to be with him, John 17, thine are mine, mine are thine, and nothing shall happen to them. That's the elect. That's a small number. And that small remnant of men specifically in this regard were created and chosen before Genesis, the 1st chapter. Before the Lord said, before it said, God, let there be light, the elect was already established. That's why you can't make yourself the elect. Either you are or you aren't. And I prayed myself that I'm part of the elect. I pray. I'm not speaking from a point of I got it established. I already got my golden ticket. Low quality bait. Why are you here? How about this? A lot of you people, like I said, believe what you want to believe. Who fucking cares about you people, man? You people are about to enter into 2026 and be more sadder, more broker, more through, more hurt, more complaints, and you got a nerve to be talking to me. Like, again, we're speaking to low rage bait. Man, I don't even make no fucking money from this, man. You niggas is just weirdos, man. All right? So again, to those that are sincerely attempting to please the Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls God and Jesus Christ. Another point, the Lord's not dealing with the majority of you people, man. The majority of you people are not on the Lord's radar. He's looked at Isaiah 6:9 tells us that the Lord said that how long, right? That's what Isaiah was asking. He said that he would heal not these people's ears or their eyes so that they could be basically restored into the faith. But the Lord doesn't want it. And that's only speaking to the 2/3. That's speaking to a portion of the nation of Israel. You other nations, again, I don't give a fuck. That's another part of this religious psychosis that's occurring in Israel amongst non-elect men that claim themselves to be teachers. You're trying to make things up. You're making it up. You're winging it. All right? Because you're not part of it. Majority of Israel is not on the good side of the Lord. He's not using them. He's using them for wickedness to destroy them. So what more of the other nations? What about that, Genesis? Akkad and Assad? Please show me these Hebrew Edomites and these Hebrew Elamites and Hebrew Ammonites and Moabites that's going to go and hit the highways and hedges diligently and teach the people, hey, salvation is for you also. Just limited. Come on now. You got to be called. You have to be anointed by the Lord to do this. Let's be clear. I was talking to my wife about this the other day. I said, man, waking up to this truth, man, this truth throws you now you're on the internet, you're talking, you're public. Now this is the most extreme form of public speaking, and you got to deal with that. Versus most of you people, man, most of you people are afraid to make simple phone calls to people. You're afraid to send emails. You're afraid. That's how you know that this is a spiritual thing. Because me personally, prior to all of this, man, I was quiet. One could say bashful 15 plus years ago. But then you learn and you grow, and the Spirit builds you up because the Lord needs us to be a certain way. Some of you, the Lord's not with you. He's with you in evil, in the senses of, as the scriptures say in Isaiah 45, that basically the Lord creates good and he creates evil. All right. So a lot of you are being used. You're just being used in the name of wickedness. You're not being used as a righteous man would be. Okay. So again, religious psychosis. Let me get my other phone out real quick. I got a second. I'm about to close up here anyway. And this devil, this system knows this. This is where the scriptures say we wrestle not with flesh and blood, but principalities. This is psychological warfare. This is playing on your mind. Okay? Now it says religious psychosis involves hallucinations and delusion with religious themes. All these assholes waking up in Israel talking about King David. That's religious psychosis. These are not spiritual moments of the Lord dealing with you. These are bugged out motherfuckers being even more bugged out. All right? Hyper religiosity, also known as extreme religiosity, is a psychiatric disturbance in which a person experiences intense religious beliefs or episodes. Hold on. Hold up. Give me 1 second. All right. So again, it says intense religious beliefs or episodes that interfere with normal functioning. Right. This is what a lot of these Hebrew Israelites, and I'm speaking as a Hebrew Israelite. I'm speaking as a Hebrew Israelite here. Okay? All of you aren't called. All of you aren't part of the elect. All of you aren't putting on as the elect. That's why it's so many. It's so many bullshit ass breakdowns and names. The name of the Lord is Yahweh. That's religious psychosis. The Lord didn't call you. That's why you're not calling on the true name of the Lord. Babylon the Great is the Vatican. You experienced a point of religious psychosis that the Lord called you in here to just destroy you even more. That's what all of this is. A lot of this that we're experiencing and witnessing amongst these Israelites are bugged outness. They're not called in the name of salvation. They're called to be more bugged out. So that's what this is. If you weren't called, there was a lot of people, this truth is attractive to them because, now they feel important. That's why what's in them, in their arterial. You got to understand, a lot of Jake is moving with arterial motives. They're not moving with, like I say in the beginning of the lesson, in truth and in sincerity. They weren't sincerely seeking out the truth and seeking out how to be better in the eyes of the Creator. They weren't doing that. They were just some niggas that found something and it was like, yo, the ladies like this? All right, I'm going to go do that. Yo, I could curse out people? All right, I'm going to do that. Yo, it gives me an excuse to not do this? Bet. See? And then over time, the long suffrage. That's why, again, long suffering and patience is the ultimate weaning out of degeneracies and religious psychosis. Because if you really are called, and this is what you're supposed to be doing, if this was your vocation, this is the Lord's vocation for you, the job the Lord created you to do, you're going to do it no matter how long the job is required of us. That's the separation. Religious psychosis it cannot withstand the test of suffrage. And I'm going to end it on that point. So with that, I want to give all the glory and honor to you. How about Shemi? Shalom.